All right, Big D's coming through. He's gonna make the first trip up the hill, Jackermackers. Go, Tony, go. Gotta love that truck. And I hate that wood. That is some nasty looking wood. So we took that gate out and widened that up, and we're gonna bring back a double gate. That's what me and Jackson's working on. Okay, it has been a while since I've ran this drone. And I'm a little rusty at it, and try to bear with me on this jerkiness. But there's that clear cut we've been working on. And that spot there in the center, that's where a good poplar regeneration's happened there from before, and I didn't want to cut. I did a little selecting inside it, but I didn't want to cut that out. I want to let that taper down and keep the sun off of it and let it bake in the oven for 20 more years. This is the clear cut area. This is a soft spot. Big Daddy's skidding with the dozer actually, and then doing some smooching up in between drags. And then Roger skidding with Irma. And Irma's got issues from time to time, but Irma's doing a pretty good job. But it does get issues from time to time, just knick-knack stuff, hoses and the sort. But Irma's been doing a really good job. But that area is so soft. Look at the tracks Big Daddy made the dozer. I mean, it is so soft. It's ridiculously soft. Like, I about buried Brutus in there. Now, the property line runs on the right-hand side. That's the trees they got left right there on the ground. The property lines run up at a diagonal. The fence don't run with the property line. The fence kind of grow. I don't know how that was decided years ago. Look, there's standing water there. There's the trees they have laid out yet. That's all they got to do to finish skidding on this job. So I did get the drone down there just in time. They'd probably done half hour, 45 minutes later. And I'm currently on the boom because Big Mama and Levi is at the mill collaring mulch. And Ann and Calvin went to the mill to sell mulch. And then Jackson stayed back with Daddy. And then Piam, Roger, Derek, and Robin were putting the finishing touches on this thing and trying to get it pulled out of here because we got weather coming. And we're skidding through the gate and yarding just inside the hayfield there. So we're trying to keep our footprint small as possible, but it's hard not to grow it out there and get the wood moved. But I wanted to take a trip with the drone, show you how far Tiny's traveling. I don't think 3/4 of a mile would capture the skid that we're on right now. I think it's more than 3/4 of a mile Tiny's on. And a bunch of that's on paved road, lane, crossing cattle guards and stuff. Here's Robin. He's cutting up. This is his yard. You can see how he's kind of got his log stack going on Tiny. That Dan is something else. And Robin's getting pretty daggone good on it. I'm real proud of him. It took him a little bit to get started. It takes everybody a bit to get started. But the thing about Robin is he knows what you're there to do. He's been doing it for years. And I'm actually to the point now, let's see, right now I'm editing this. He's probably been on this thing for 8 months. And I like just watching what he's doing. I like watching the decisions he makes. It's neat. I told him the other day I was proud of him. And there's a few walnuts left in that little spot, the island of woods we cut the other day. But I told him the other day, I said, oh, man, I'm proud of you. I'm watching stuff. And, he's looking at me, Robin. He's looking at me like I'm full of mess and I'm just blowing smoke up his butt. And I'm like, sir, saying, no, you're slick. You're freaking, some of the moves he makes, he's total different operator than what I am. Like, I'm rough around it. Look, Derek put Jackson. Jackson's driving. You can't keep anything you put Jackson in, man, he just takes off with it. He's going to grab the steering wheel and go. Derek's like, heck with it. You just drive the daggone thing. He about wore him out. I don't know how many trips I stuck him with him on, but it was more than 3. And there's an overhead shot. But getting back to Robin, I'm a whole different operator than he is. And the other day I was hauling logs. I did record that. We was on a small job. Robin, this is a different job than what this is. And there's a rental house up there. But the other day, Robin's loading. I was trucking. And Rob was loading me. And the way he sets his logs down and stuff, like he's quick, efficient, but he don't tear up any equipment. And it's like, and somebody that's hard on equipment like I can be, first things, well, he ain't operating that tough, and then you watch him and watch how much he's getting done. You're like, oh my God, it's his brain has got to be clicking 90 miles a minute. But the machine's making smooth, calculated maneuvers. It's just to work that way. An operator that can get in here, this is kind of cool going through that beech tree. An operator that can get his head set on thinking really hard, yet being really smooth and easy going on the machine, is super tough to do. And he's got that nailed. But that's what I was telling him. I'm telling you guys, he's looking at me like, whatever. You know what I mean? You're blowing smoke over, but there's what I was talking about early in the video when we made the double gates. The second gate hadn't made it there. Yeah, it is. It's leaned up against the fence there. The shiny red one. When we get done today, me and Jackson's going to hang it. And here's Mom's pool. There's Big Mama's house, Big Mama and Big Daddy's house. And the pond out there in the pond, like we call it the Pond Palace. It's a frame that we built, and we set that shack out on piers. And that shack's setting over the water. The pond's underneath that shack. That shack's on top of the water. See how it sets about 2 to 3 inches up out of the water. The frame does. So when you walk out there, you're actually walking out on the pond. And here's the corral with that new Tartar gate system that I still ain't got the diesel fuel sprayed on. Tartar gates, I'm telling you guys, that's they got that roundy round cattle tub to sort out and feed cows in. Man, that is smooth. And the solid sides where the cows can't see through, it's so much easier on them. And here Derek is running out the lane. Here's some jerky drone flying. I apologize for. Just hard to really put into context how big that truck is. It's just a big old girl. Especially from this angle, it looks, it ain't that big. But then you look at the posts and realize they're 5 foot and something tall. And they were busting through the tree. Now, you see that dead red oak tree in my yard. This is my house, me and Mommy's house. But that dead red oak tree, that's in one of the next couple videos coming up. We're going to tackle that thing, and that thing gets interesting, I'll have to say. That's all I'm going to do. I ain't going to spoil it. But if you see that video come up, anybody that's watching this, please come back and watch it, because I think you're going to enjoy it. It gets a bit... Put it this way, I about put the tree through my house. And here's going out the road. And there's Dirt Perfect's house and Andy's house. That's my neighbors down there on the right. And then there's a couple log trucks I loaded up and chained down, parked out the lane there. And then here's Derek coming out the lane. And that stump on the right-hand side of the screen, that's this tree that Levi pushed the other day when we was getting this yard built. He pushed that with the skidder the other day. I was real proud of him. So here I set the drone up, and I want to buck some logs up. And I fell behind because I chased Derek down there to try to get the drone footage of his last round. And now, if you just stay in the boom, keep your butt in the seat and operate, you can keep up. If you operate pretty quick, you can keep up with the truck and Robin. Derek and the truck and Robin and the din, but barely. And if you're doing like I'm doing, you get out and you move trucks around, load trucks and chain down, or fly around with the drone, you fall behind. And this time it actually caught me. And I actually had to hold Derek up for a minute or so. He's sitting there waiting for me to get these logs out of the way so he can back in and dump. And there I skipped ahead to where I had the pile clean. And I've stepped in the boom behind Big Mama, and she don't really do so much of sorting. I like to sort for species. So the thing about sorting is the lesser amount of variables you can get when you're sorting, the better off you are. So I don't try to put like all white oak on one bunk when you load the truck or something like that. I try to do like something that's manageable. So like on the front bunk, I might have oak and poplar. Middle bunk might be whatever, and then the back bunk will be whatever. And if I'm loading long logs, which there's less long logs on a bunk because they're heavier, fatter logs is what they tend to be if they're long. So I don't really species sort them so much. A little bit, but not a lot, as I'm loading the log trucks, because it's going to be less logs anyways. But when you get in these short, junky trees like we're doing, man, it kills a loader man in the mill trying to sort. So what I'm trying to do is semi-sort going to the pile, like halfway sort. You got long and short, and then you got, close to the boom, there's probably oak and poplars, and then farther away from the boom, there's your other species. So your tight circle, you're keeping more of what we're utilizing in a tight circle. And then when you reach out away from the boom, when you jib out a bit to make your pile there, you're not stacking something that you get a high volume of way out and about. You want that real estate on the far extremities of your knuckle boom reach, you want to save that for stuff you don't get much of, if you see what I mean. So you keep the area in close to your hub there full of species you're cranking through, And then so you got one opportunity, the way I'll do it, you got one opportunity when you swing to the table to sort. You got an opportunity from when you swing from the table to the pile to do a little sort. And then you got when you're loading a log truck out of the pile to do a little sort. So you get 3 opportunities to do some sorting with a knuckle boom, or just throw the chunk. And I like to take advantage of them. I don't sort everything perfect when I throw it on the table. I don't sort everything perfect when it goes in a log stack. But I try to get it pretty close to boxed in when I load it on the log truck. So that way you're never slowing your flow down, but you are getting somewhat of a species sort headed to the mill to be easier on the loader man, is what I'm attempting to do. It isn't going smoothly, and it never does go smoothly when I get in a boom behind somebody else and I'm trying to either modify their system a little bit or try to live off their system too, or however they got it going, and adjust a little from there. So it's never smooth, really, but I make do. But you're about looking at all the wood we're getting off this job. There ain't many more truckloads that come in. That's a big white oak. And for some reason, the teeth are dull in this saw, and I don't want to slow down and sharpen them and change them out, but I killed the saw there. I was like, we ain't going to sit here and wait for the saw blade to build up. I'll just change camera angles. But here's some maple and stuff like that. And bark slips starting to happen. This is April something or another. Bark slip at this point starting to happen. Say with the leaves on, it's about the end of April. April 20-something, 28th or something like that. Now what I'm doing is I'm throwing these logs up on the table and making our grade decisions and then cutting them into the trees into logs. Now, like a wide table with a big saw blade, because that gives you room to sort. That gives you room to throw stuff down, sort, look at it without getting your table tight. If you got a narrow width table, it's hard to do as much sorting, or as much, not sorting, I wouldn't say, as much grading of different logs at the same time as you could do with a wide table. So I really dig that wide table. And that's the saw we put the bearings in and seal in. And it's been running really quiet and good. I'm really happy with that saw motor here recently. So I'm pretty proud of how that turned out. Here I'm going to take my drone past the boom, show off the boom a little bit, and get it parked. It's a beeping at me. It wants to land, and I'm not a drone specialist, so I kind of freak out when it starts beeping. And oh, God, I got to get her set on the ground before I crash her into a tree, because I've done that before, too. So, and we'll get back to the present part of the video and finish this here thing up. The kids get to help me at the end of the day, and I didn't cover it real well. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Big D's bringing down the last load. Bringing up the last load, rather. I'm waiting on my boy. He's cut down the hill on the bend with that Ranger. Always waiting on Christmas, I guess. Ain't gonna be waiting a while, because it's April. It's May. It's 1st of May. I don't know about that boy. Ain't none of them right, I tell you. Get him, Jackson. Oh, I figured he'd whoop him. I figured Jackson just stop and whoop him. Every once in a while, Jackson will tear and somebody just whoop him. Let's go check on Rob, make sure his hose ain't too bad. We got a story I want to tell everybody about Calvin calling me on the phone. What'd you tell me?
I said for the past hour I've been freaking out.
I said for the past hour, Dad, I've been freaking out. Now, why have you been freaking out, Calvin? Tell me why you've been freaking out.
Well, the Ranger's at 1 bar of gas, so it's...
The Ranger's at 1 bar of gas.
And then once I feel wasps come to me, and I back off, and then they start chasing me.
What do they smell, dude?
No, it's pretty trash. I guess they start gonna do something.
Need to run up there and get my saw. He's focused. What does he keep stopping for? Just asking you questions?
What?
What does he keep stopping for? Just asking you questions?
I'm stopping to play nervous. Where you want me to go?
Yeah, my saw's up here. We're going to put my saw in the back and we'll take the mini and then home.
The sacrifices we make.
People will never understand
They
what it's
do.
like.
They don't.
Come on, man,
Woo!